On News Hour tonight, Nigeria's healthcare crisis, rising costs and limited access leave many vulnerable. Lagos abattoir faces challenges as rising transport costs drive up beef prices. Army mediates peace between farmers and herders in Mangu ahead of planting season. And away from Nigeria, Angola urges ceasefire ahead of crucial DRC M23 peace talks. Hello and welcome to News Hour tonight. I am Dorcas Yakubuzala. Now, for many Nigerians, falling sick is not just a health challenge, it's a financial burden. As the cost of medical care rises due to economic downturns and declining living standards, millions are left struggling to access quality health care. Adamu Imam has a situation report from Bauchi.
In Nigeria, most people pay for medical care out of pocket, with little to no government support or affordable insurance options. For low-income households, the choice is often between self-medication or delaying treatment until their condition worsens, sometimes with fatal consequences. At public hospitals, patients share their struggles with accessing affordable care. It is the duty of the government at all levels to provide accessible healthcare facilities that are affordable, while also seeking ways to improve them. The last time, I suggested an initiative where people could pay a certain percentage of their medical bills. I advised the government to act appropriately and in a timely manner. All we hear from the media are promises that they will do this or that, but it often turns out to be mere rhetoric. God is powerful, and the government will be held accountable for their actions. The issue of free medical services in Nigeria is nothing but a mirage. We can hardly see what is truly happening in our public hospitals. I speak from experience because within just 2 months, I often find myself needing to visit the hospital due to our children requiring medical attention. The so-called free service is no longer available at all. Beyond individual experience, the broader healthcare system faces severe challenges. Public hospitals are overwhelmed, medical supplies are often scarce, and many health facilities lack adequate funding. Health advocates and medical professionals warn that without urgent intervention, the crisis will deepen.
First for some little amount for antenatal, that's for Pasolate and folic acid. Even though the Pasolate and folic acid is free, but they are collecting some little amount, which is 300 to 500. Now that for deliveries, hospital delivery is free, but there is some little amount attached to it. A lot of women are crying for why they are collecting such amount, or why the facility are demanding for such amount.
For under 5 children, they give them free treatment for malaria and the rest. But any other thing, you have to pay for it. So out-of-pocket expenses is very high on the part of people when they go to the hospital. Even cat, you have to buy cat. Investigations, you have to pay for investigations. And that is where the money is. And then for drugs, if they can give you generic drugs, but other drugs you have to go and buy. Even now that they say we are now doing the Ebola State Health Contributory scheme, you have diseases that they don't cover.
To pay, or they may refer you to that facility where you can access, or when you can access those care. So that's how it was. Some people come to say, why am I asking me to pay? Why are you telling me the drug is not covered? Is it because what the money that the government is paying is not enough? But area of improvement is government is finance. Government should improve the finance, and they should also checkmate the HMO, because most of them, the HMOs, they are business people. They are business people. When you request for request for an investigation, and they will tell you that investigation, they will look for a way to delay it, because they don't want to spend that money.
Looking ahead, experts stress the need for government action, expanding health insurance coverage, increasing investment in public hospitals, and making medical care more affordable for all Nigerians. Without these steps, the country's healthcare system will continue to leave its most vulnerable behind. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Now, butchers and cattle merchants in Jigawa State are struggling as the price of cows skyrockets, with large cows now selling between 1 million and 1.5 million, up from 800,000 naira. Medium-sized cows cost 600,000 naira to 700,000 naira, while smaller ones go for 400,000 naira to 500,000 naira. The price surge is linked to rising import costs, transportation expenses, fuel subsidy removal, and inflation. With Ramadan ongoing, demand for meat is expected to rise, further straining the livestock sector. Stakeholders in Duse local government area are urging the Jigawa state government to intervene by providing financial support, subsidizing transport costs, and offering palliative loans to butchers to prevent the industry's collapse.
I'm also involved in buying and selling cattle. The price of cattle this year is much higher compared to last year. This year, cattle are being sold for prices like 950,000 naira, 1 million naira, and some are even going for 1.2 million naira or 1.3 million naira and above. In the past, we used to slaughter the cows and sell them in parts. Sometimes, two people would even share the cost of one cow.
Now, across Nigeria, crumbling highways and skyrocketing diesel prices are choking supply chains, pushing the cost of essential goods, including beef, through the roof. For cattle dealers, butchers, and transporters, it's a daily struggle. Profit margins are shrinking while customers are outraged. But beyond the price hikes, what does this mean for those whose survival depends on this business? Victoria Tokolo reports from Okoba Abattoir in Lagos, where frustration is mounting. Her report is presented from our studio.
Okoba Abattoir in Agege, Lagos is one of the busiest livestock markets in the state, supplying beef to thousands of homes and businesses daily. It is a hub of activity where cattle breeders, butchers, and traders gather to negotiate prices of load livestock and processed meat for sale. But these days, business is tough. The cost of purchasing a single cow has skyrocketed, leaving both traders and customers frustrated. Cattle dealers blame the high prices of the cost of transporting cows from the northern states, which has nearly doubled due to soaring prices of diesel and the poor state of roads.
Before we carry this cow from north to here, that's the problem. Motor costs. Before we are taking trailers, 250,000, 400, but now it's 1,200,000, 1,300,000 now.
Butchers are also feeling the heat. With Ramadan underway, demand for beef is high, but supply is dwindling. Many cattle farmers up north have cut down on sales, preferring to hold on to their livestock for personal or community slaughter during the fasting period.
Come out, some of the people will go back to rest. They will not come market in the Ramadan period, because if you see the kind of how they take the cows from the north down to Lagos, it is very difficult to them. Most of them have stopped work in this period.
Everything's so difficult to us now. You can see for 2 years to this time, it may be like this. Because of the fuel that the federal government will increase, it make everything to turn down for all Nigeria to not make it easy. The car we can buy like a 200 now, we will buy it 800. Most of our customers over there, those the herdsmen that do not bring cow, they told us that the price of petrol is adding to the price of cow. That for them bringing cow from north to here, that the trailer for a cow to bring a cow is about 60,000 naira for a cow to transport a cow from north to Lagos here.
At the trailer park where cows are transported into Lagos, drivers have their own struggles. Many say the journey from the north, which should take a few days, now stretches longer due to bad roads and frequent breakdowns. The cost of filling their trailers with diesel has become unbearable.
Buy diesel at the rate of 1,150 naira per liter for now, which the previous years we buy it 400, highest 300, 400 highest.
We take 3 days to deliver here because now from Guru to here, maybe the truck will now take 700 liters coming to Lagos. Then the diesel is very costly.
Our road in Niger State is very rough, very bad. We have a very bad road, and we buy diesel of like 600 liters to 650 from Ilela to Lagos, and they paid us. While cow are so close here, they paid us like 1 million from there, from Ilela to Lagos. That's what they paid us for our transport fee.
As the cost of doing business rises, many cattle traders and butchers are being forced out of the industry. Some have switched to alternative jobs like commercial motorcycle or keke napep riding just to survive. They are now calling on the federal government to intervene by repairing major highways in the north, reducing diesel cost and reopening borders to allow more cattle imports. For now, as long as transportation costs remain high, consumers in Lagos should brace up for more expensive beef on their plates.
Now, still in Lagos, a serving corps member in the state has alleged that NYSC officials are threatening her after she posted a viral video criticizing President Bola Tinubu's administration over rising inflation and economic hardship. In the video, she lamented the soaring cost of living, highlighting the sharp increase in food prices, high utility bills, and expensive transportation. She also questioned the government's efforts to address the economic crisis, describing the NYSC scheme as financially burdensome due to its low allowance. Following the video's circulation, she claimed to have received threats from NYSC officials, including phone calls and messages urging her to take it down. She also alleged that officials were attempting to identify and intimidate her, even sending her personal details via WhatsApp. Despite being asked to report to the NYSC office, she insists she has done nothing wrong and maintains that she was simply exercising her rights to free speech. The NYSC has yet to respond to the allegations.
I'm coming from the supermarket where I went to get foodstuffs and everything has gone up again. It's just like every single week prices increase. I want to know, what is the government doing about this increment? Is there going to be a particular time where prices will stop going up? Is there going to be a particular time where things are going to go back? Guys, why am I going to get a crate of egg and they're telling me it is 6.5? It doesn't make any sense that egg will cost 6.5. Like, I literally can't remember when egg used to cost 800.
Are you normal?
I wasn't insulting the president, ma. I was only asking for accountability.
Hold down that rubbish you put there.
Ma, are you threatening me?
Hold down that rubbish. You are not talking to your mate.
Ma, she called me and she was shouting and she was threatening me to take down the video. And I'm in my first mind, I'm like, wait, how did they get my phone number? And then I realized that every NYSC copper has to fill a file with your phone number and your address. I'm like, these people actually have my house address and they know where I'm staying. And now they have started calling me first to threaten me. It is so bad that you can't even just speak up about the government because they feel like they have chains to hold you.
Meanwhile, Amnesty International has called on the federal government to stop intimidating individuals and groups who criticize the administration, stating that dissent is not a crime. The rights organization also condemned alleged threats against Lagos-based NYSC member Ushia Ugwamaye, who posted a viral TikTok video criticizing President Bola Tinubu's government over rising economic hardship. Amnesty International denounced the reported intimidation by NYSC officials, emphasizing that Ugwamaye had the right to express her frustrations. It urged authorities to focus on addressing the worsening economic crisis rather than targeting citizens for voicing their concerns. The group further highlighted the growing poverty levels in Nigeria and criticized the government's failure to implement effective relief measures. Meanwhile, Ugwamaye has expressed fears for her safety, claiming her personal details were leaked and that she is being pressured to report to the NYSC office. Now, ahead of the farming season, stakeholders in Mangu and Pangshin local government areas of Plateau State have been cautioned against actions or incitements that could trigger conflict. The warning was issued during a stakeholders' engagement in Mangu town, where both farmers and herders were urged to foster peaceful coexistence. Ado Musa reports.
Mangu local government has been a flashpoint of recurring clashes between herders and farmers, leading to loss of lives and destruction of properties worth millions of naira. To rebuild trust between the warring parties, the new General Officer Commanding 3 Division of the Nigerian Army, Rukuba Barak Jos, convened a crucial engagement with the key stakeholders to seek lasting solutions to the crisis.
When insecurity disrupts farming, herding, and other economic activities in this local government area, it will affect every household, increase hardship, and heighten tension. Therefore, it is in our best interest to work together to create a safe and secure environment where persons of all walks of life can coexist peacefully without fear. In this regard, it is imperative to continue to build on the successes recorded so far to enhance security and fostering peaceful coexistence.
The Plateau State Governor Caleb Mutfwan, represented by his special advisor on labor matters, commended the GOC for its proactive peace-building efforts.
We stand here, we talk the peace, later in the evening you see a different thing. The GOC will not be in our villages. This security will not be everywhere. This security personnel will not be everywhere. We must on our own work on this peace.
Traditional rulers and other community leaders also emphasized the significance of the dialogue in fostering peace.
We are still panicking for us to go back to our village or far rural areas to farm. So how are we sure that we will be well protected to go back to our various places? So I believe, sir, to security agencies to make sure we are well protected.
I am highly impressed with your presence, sir. Because if you don't want justice, you will not come down to Mangu local government. But the God Almighty that gave you that strength to come, I know you will do the needful for the Mogul people.
They are cordial inside, what is wrong outside. So I advise on sincerity of purpose. Once there is sincerity, everything you build, it will stand. But if there is no sincerity, what we are saying is different from our action, then it means something is wrong.
While similar peace meetings have been held in the past, participants at this forum expressed optimism that this engagement will make a meaningful impact in ensuring lasting peace in Mangu and beyond. Ado Musa reporting for Trust TV.
Over to Abia State, where the police command has killed 6 suspected kidnappers and rescued 4 victims unharmed in Osokwa, Isisioma, Ungwa local government area. Statement issued by Maureen Chinaka, spokesperson for the Abia State Police Command on March 9, 2025. The police received a report that the victims had been abducted while traveling along New Umahia Road in Obingwa. Acting on intelligence, the police tracked the kidnappers' hideout in Osokwa, where the victims had been held for 5 days. In a subsequent operation on March 14th, 6 kidnappers were killed and the victims were rescued safely. 2 AK-47 rifles, 6 magazines and 34 rounds of ammunition were recovered. Efforts are ongoing to apprehend other gang members who fled with gunshot injuries. The Commissioner of Police, Nladi Isa, urged residents to report anyone with gunshot wounds and reassured the public that the police are dedicated to combating crime in the state. Now, tension has risen in Ondo State after suspected herdsmen attacked the villages of Ademekun, Aba Pastor, Aba Sunday, and Alajido in Akure North local government area on March 8, 2025. The attack, which occurred around 2 a.m., left at least 14 dead, homes burned, and several others injured. Many victims were farmers from Taraba and Oyo State who had settled in the area. According to Sunday Punch, the attack is believed to be in retaliation for the killing of 100 cows belonging to herders from Edo State. Princess Kemisola Adelowo, regent of Ademekun, confirmed the death and stated that the bodies were taken to Okada, Edo State. Survivor Emmanuel Musa described narrowly escaping death and called for increased security. A local group, Oye Development Initiatives, urged the state to act urgently to address the insecurity. Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State has called for Amotekun operatives to be equipped with weapons to counter the growing threat from armed herders and bandits. Now, former Jigawa State Governor and People's Democratic Party PDP chieftain Sule Lamido has dismissed a call by ex-Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai, urging opposition figures to join the Social Democratic Party SDP ahead of the 2027 elections. El-Rufai, who recently defected from the All Progressives Congress APC to the SDP, made the appeal in an interview with BBC Hausa, inviting Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, Rotimi Amechi, and Rauf Aregbesola to join him in building a new political movement. However, in a separate interview with BBC Hausa, Lamido rejected the invitation, describing it as an insult and insisting that the PDP, which he helped build, laid the foundation for El-Rufai's political career. Lamido also questioned El-Rufai's motives for dumping the APC, adding that he remained loyal to the PDP despite past political turbulence. He further advised El-Rufai to prioritize patriotism over personal grievances, urging him to focus on nation building rather than political maneuvering. He emphasized that the PDP is working to regain its strength and remains a formidable force in the political landscape. Now in Rivers State, the Rivers State House of Assembly has accused Governor Siminalayi Fubara of obstructing the implementation of the Supreme Court judgment, particularly regarding the representation of the 2025 Appropriation Bill. Chairman of the House Committee on Information, Dr. Enemi Alabo George, stated on Sunday in Port Harcourt that the governor had not officially submitted the budget proposal, contrary to his public claims. George challenged Fubara to produce an acknowledged copy of the letter he claimed to have sent to the Assembly. The Assembly alleged that efforts to collaborate with the governor for the state's progress had been frustrated. They cited multiple instances where official correspondence from the House was rejected or ignored, including attempts to facilitate the appointment of commissioners after the Supreme Court invalidated previous appointments. This is News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up ahead. Gombe stakeholders advocate religious tolerance and political harmony. This and many more when we return. Do stay with us. Welcome back. In case you're just joining us, this is News Hour on Trust TV. Let's take a look at our top stories again. Nigeria's healthcare crisis, rising costs and limited access leave many vulnerable. Lagos abattoir faces challenges as rising transport costs drive up beef prices. Now moving on to other stories, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has intercepted multiple drug shipments concealed in prayer beads, clothing, and board games bound for the US, Saudi Arabia, Italy, Poland, and the UAE. At Lagos Murtala Muhammad International Airport, operatives arrested a 43-year-old woman attempting to smuggle 190 parcels of tramadol to Italy, and a 60-year-old suspect trying to send 400 grams of skunk to New York. Further seizures included cocaine, loud, molly, and tramadol hidden in vitamin bottles and shoe soles. Additional raids across Kano, Kogi, Kaduna, Kwara, Taraba, Osun, FCT, and Abia states led to multiple arrests and the confiscation of large quantities of opiates and cannabis. NDLEA Chairman Brigadier General Muhammad Buba Marwa, retired, commended the officers, emphasizing the agency's commitment to dismantling drug trafficking networks and intensifying its war against drug abuse sensitization efforts nationwide. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has confiscated over 100 truckloads of substandard, falsified, and banned medicines from markets in Lagos, Abia, and Anambra states. NAFDAC's Director General, Professor Mojishola Adeyeye, revealed that the agency's enforcement operations in Idumota, Aba, and Onitsha led to the seizure of dangerous drugs worth over ₦1 trillion. She warned that the circulation of such drugs could endanger millions of Nigerians, fuel insecurity, and weaken the nation. The enforcement, which concluded in March, uncovered large quantities of narcotics, including tramadol and banned codeine syrups. In Onitsha, illicit drug warehouses were found in extreme conditions, accelerating medicine degradation. During these crackdowns, NAFDAC officials and security personnel faced violent resistance from dealers, with some staff narrowly escaping death. Despite the risks, the agency vowed to continue its efforts to protect public health and ensure safer trade in the pharmaceutical sector. Now, stakeholders in Gombe State have convened for the Gombe Peace Dialogue, a forum aimed at fostering sustainable, peaceful coexistence in the state. The gathering, which brought together security chiefs, religious leaders, and traditional rulers, emphasized the need for religious tolerance while pointing to certain politicians as instigators of violence for political gain. Hassan Koli has more.
Participants stressed that youths are backbone of peaceful coexistence but are often exploited by politicians to fuel communal and political unrest. They were urged to remain vigilant and resist being used as tools for violence.
The people that are using the youth are the problem. Meanwhile, you are hungry and somebody give you food may tend to take the advantage. The youth also are not to be blamed. The environment is designed toward making them to be where they are. Meanwhile, the young people should be mindful of whom also come and meet them to do one or two things. If they tell you to do thuggery, where is their children? There should not be any way to see in Gombe or Bauchi or Abuja, they are in US. After the campaigning, when they come on government house and what have you, you cannot even to see them. Their children will be using our public funds for their own needs. So if any person wants you to be a political thug, tell him to invite his brother, his son, you will join him together to do the thing.
Religious and traditional leaders believe that dialogues like these play a crucial role in strengthening peace and religious tolerance in the state.
So it's very important for people together like this under one umbrella and discuss unity and peace of the nation, particularly in Gombe State, because we want to maintain the standard. Gombe State is worthy of emulation by all states because it is the most peaceful state, not only in the northeast, but in Nigeria as a whole. This is my own view. So it's very important that this type of discussions organized frequently or at least quarterly in air.
The gathering is relevant because we need peace. If there's any time we need peace in this country, it's now. So much crisis here and there. Sometimes these crises are linked with religious beliefs, which sometimes are not. So we are here to understand each other, to pray with each other, to stay with each other, to understand each other more. Because sometimes when we stay ignorant of each other, it breeds fear. And then it's a breeding ground for crisis.
Some participants also highlighted the vital role of women and media in promoting peaceful coexistence, warning of the risks of sidelining these key stakeholders.
I want to call it the young men to be carrying the young men along, because if the young men are growing and they are being developed or they are being empowered and the young men are not, there will be no balance in the society. Therefore, they are also very important in this crusade or in this journey of peace building.
Media has been a critical stakeholder in this dialogue, and dialogue has been our own part of rule. I think we are the chief custodian of peace. If we are to go by our schedules, our contents, and whatever we have, we are disseminating to the public, I think, is to make peace. Because only through peace there will be development. Without peace there will be no development. And media plays a vital role in peace building.
The event concluded with a call to reinstate traditional rulers' authority in resolving communal dispute, ensuring a more direct and impactful approach to maintaining peace in Gombe State. Hassan Koli, Trust TV News, Gombe.
Now in Adamawa State, Governor Ahmadu Umaru Fintiri is earning praise for his deliberate efforts to empower women in politics, appointing them to key positions and recognizing their leadership potential. Deputy Governor Professor Kale Tapua Farauta lauded these commitments during a citizens engagement program organized to spotlight the developmental progress of the administration. Trust TV's Gibson Swadigo reports from Yola.
The Citizens Engagement Program, hosted by the Office of the Principal Special Assistant to the Governor on Social Mobilization, brought together a diverse group of stakeholders to discuss governance and inclusion. Addressing participants, Adamawa State Deputy Governor Professor Kale Tapua Farauta emphasized that Governor Fintiri's leadership is built on equity, fairness, and transparency. She highlighted his recognition of women's skills and leadership capacity, stating that their active participation in governance strengthens families, communities, and the nation at large.
As leaders in our different positions, we must go back and be focused to ensure that we bring governance very close to our people. To represent the governor, to be focused in undertaking projects and doing things that will help people to see Governor Fintiri in you and in me in our local environments.
The event convener, Victor Dogo, Principal Special Assistant to the Governor on Social Mobilization, commended Fintiri for setting a new benchmark in inclusive governance. He described leadership as a commitment to service and equity, stressing the importance of ensuring all voices are heard.
She said, do you know the statistics you have in Adamawa State of inclusivity, of women on the table of governance? That you know you are not saying to the world? I was shocked. And she was so pleased and glad that this thing is happening in Adamawa State.
Held at the banquet hall of the Government House in Yola, the event also featured an award ceremony recognizing individuals who have made significant contributions to national development. Gibson Soadugo, Trust TV News, Yola.
Now, EFCC Chairman Ola Olukoyede has announced the recovery of 365.4 billion naira and 4,101 convictions in 2024, attributing the success to staff dedication. Speaking at a retreat in Uyo, he vowed to surpass these achievements in 2025 and strengthen professionalism in the fight against corruption. Legal experts, including Femi Falana's son, commended the EFCC's efforts and called for judicial reforms to enhance its effectiveness. Olukoyede assured that within 6 months, the EFCC would undergo a major transformation to boost its impact. The House of Representatives Public Accounts Committee, PAC, has recovered $19.2 million from 2 oil firms indebted to the federal account as part of its ongoing probe into revenue leakages. According to a statement by House spokesman Akin Rotimi, Chorus Energy Limited paid $847,623, which is equivalent to 1.2 billion naira on March 11th, while Seplat's Production Developments Limited cleared its $18.39 million, which is equivalent to 29.6 billion naira debt between March 10th and 14th. The investigation stems from the 2021 audit report, which identified 45 oil companies owing $1.7 billion. The PAC has pledged to recover funds from 38 remaining firms. In a separate probe, the House recovered 199.3 million naira from excess charges and unremitted VAT processed via remitter between 2015 and 2022. The committee is also pursuing the outstanding 6.8 billion naira owed by financial institutions. PAC Chairman Rep. Bamidele Salam reaffirmed the House's commitment to financial discipline and accountability, warning that all defaulters will be held accountable. Now, the forward operating base Badagry of the Nigerian Navy has intercepted 13,800 litres of petrol and 71 bags of foreign rice in multiple anti-smuggling operations along the Badagry creeks. According to the commanding officer, Navy Captain Oyeleye Omotayo, the seizures took place between March 7th and 14th based on intelligence reports. The Navy intercepted smugglers attempting to move the contraband across Nigeria's territorial waters, forcing them to abandon their goods and flee. The confiscated rice and petrol, which were intended for illegal export to the Benin Republic, have been secured at the Navy base for further action. The Navy reiterated its commitments to curbing smuggling and protecting Nigeria's economic interests. The Nigeria Customs Service is calling for greater public understanding and collaboration in its operations, emphasizing that citizens are key partners in nation building. This was the focus of a strategy conference held by the Semi-Border Area Command, where Customs Controller Dr. Ben Oramalugo engaged with university students to reshape perceptions and foster synergy. The report.
At the heart of this engagement is a crucial dialogue between the Nigeria Customs Service and the university community, a move aimed at educating young minds on customs, administration, trade facilitation, and anti-smuggling efforts. Dr. Ben Oramalugo, controller of the Semi-Border Area Command, stressed that the Customs Service is not just about enforcement but also key player in economic growth. He urged the public to see customs as a partner rather than an obstacle, calling for a shift in perception.
It is said by the United Nations that the amount of arms within Nigeria is about 10 million light weapons and arms. And it is job of customs that they make sure they don't come in. And that's the reason why, over the years, customs have been making seizures of these arms and ammunition to make sure they don't come in. And we are doing that in a very difficult terrain. Nigeria is about 923,000 square kilometers. The border between here and Benin Republic is 773 kilometers. Between Chad is 87 kilometers. You can find that it's a very difficult terrain. And we are doing that with less technology.
Beyond enforcement, Oramalugo highlighted the service role in fostering trade, ensuring border security, and generating revenue for national development.
Somebody will be in China, produce fake drug with no active ingredients. He will write it in augmentin with good package, and we bring it to Nigeria. Containers, hundreds of containers.
Participants, including academics and business stakeholders, praised the conference as a platform for meaningful engagement. They emphasized the importance of a collaborative approach in enhancing trade, curbing smuggling, and ensuring customs operations align with the rule of law.
He was very, very clear and concise in explaining the role of customs in the society and the contribution customs have been making in developing our economy. And it's so amazing. And I'm sure with all the various points he raised during this lecture regarding the contribution of customs to Nigeria economy, everyone has been enlightened.
As discussions continue, stakeholders insist that an open dialogue between the Nigeria Customs Service and the public will foster trust, improve compliance, and strengthen Nigeria's trade policies on the global stage.
You're still watching News Hour on Trust TV. We'll take a quick break. Do stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. Now in business, the World Bank is set to approve $1.13 billion in loans for Nigeria by the end of March 2025 to support the country's economic recovery, health security, and education reforms. These loans are tied to three key projects: the Accelerating Nutrition Results in Nigeria 2.0 program, the Community Action for Resilience and Economic Stimulus program, and the Hope for Quality Basic Education for All program. This move reflects Nigeria's increasing reliance on multilateral funding due to economic challenges such as fiscal deficits and rising debt obligations. Since 2023, Nigeria has secured over $9 billion from the World Bank to support critical sectors like infrastructure, healthcare, and education. Despite the ongoing debt servicing burden, the Nigerian government is focusing on optimizing resources and attracting investments while securing loans from institutions like the World Bank to fund essential structural reforms. Now, away from Nigeria, Angolan President João Lourenço, chair of the African Union, has called for an immediate ceasefire in the Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo (DRC) ahead of peace talks scheduled for March 18th in Luanda. He urged all parties to halt hostilities from midnight Sunday to create a conducive environment for negotiations. A ceasefire, according to Angola's presidency, must include an end to attacks on civilians and territorial advances. While the M23 rebels have welcomed the initiative, the DRC government has yet to confirm its participation. The ongoing conflict has seen M23 capture key towns in North and South Kivu, worsening the humanitarian crisis. With violence persisting despite diplomatic efforts, the upcoming talks mark the first direct engagement between the DRC government and M23 in 3 years. And the U.S. launched airstrikes on Yemen on Saturday, killing at least 31 people, mostly women and children. The attacks followed President Donald Trump's warning that, quote, hell will rain down, close quote, on the Houthis after the Yemeni rebel group threatened to target Israel-linked ships in the Red Sea. This came in response to the ongoing blockade of Gaza, which has now entered its third week. Meanwhile, Israeli forces continue their attacks on Gaza despite the ceasefire, killing at least 12 people, including 8 relief workers and a child in northern Beit Lahia. Gaza's health ministry reports that at least 48,543 Palestinians have been killed, with 111,981 injured in Israel's offensive. The Gaza government media office has raised the death toll to over 61,700, with thousands missing under the rubble and presumed dead. On October 7, 2023, Hamas-led attacks killed at least 1,139 people in Israel, with more than 200 taken captive. And in sports, world number 2 Eniola Bolaji has once again proven her dominance in para-badminton, SL3, clinching gold at the Spanish Para-Badminton International 2025 in Toledo. She defeated Turkey's Halime Yildiz 2-0 in Sunday's final, securing her second gold in 2 weeks. Bolaji's latest triumph follows her gold medal win at the Spanish Para-Badminton International in Victoria last week. Now, Nigeria's under-18 men's handball team has secured a spot in the final of the 2025 IHF Trophies Intercontinental Phase after a dominant 4-3 to 2-4 victory over Uzbekistan on Saturday in Pristina, Kosovo. Bouncing back from a group stage loss to Kosovo, coach Emeka Nnamani's squad delivered a near-flawless performance, boasting a 90% efficiency rate in the first half, which ended 24-13 in their favor. Despite Uzbekistan's attempts at a second-half comeback, Nigeria capitalized on fast breaks and wing plays to seal a commanding 43-29 win. This marks Nigeria's second appearance in the final following their 2019 runner-up finish to Chinese Taipei. It also ensures their third consecutive podium finish in the tournament. Meanwhile, Nigeria's under-23 team faced a tough challenge in the semi-finals of the IHF Emerging Nations Championship, failing 30-23 to host Bulgaria in Varna. Bulgaria, backed by a solid defense that conceded just 59 goals in the preliminary round, frustrated Nigeria earlier on. Their goalkeeper, Nikolay Petrov, recorded 6 saves with a 60% efficiency rate, while Christian Vasilev and tournament top scorer Svetlin Dimitrov spearheaded the host attack. Nigeria's star player Farouk Yusuf struggled, managing only 2 goals from 5 attempts and 3 turnovers. The team's overall 31% shooting efficiency made an offensive breakthrough difficult. Despite the loss, Nigeria's under-23 side made history as the first African team to reach the semi-finals of the IHF Men's Emerging Nations Championship. They will now battle for the bronze medal on Sunday, hoping to finish on the podium. And with that, we wrap up News Hour on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms for more programs, news, and documentaries. My name is Dr. Yakubzala. Bye for now.